Welcome everyone to another Total Career Makeover, your Total Career Makeover live Q&A show. I am your host, Daniel Smiley, and I am going to allow everyone to join into the live, and we're going to be talking about how to win in an interview, best way to negotiate pay, the fastest way to find a job, and answering your questions live. So if you have a question, please leave it in the chat, and I'll be happy to answer your question live here on the show today. I have an exciting announcement as well I'll be sharing with you guys. So yeah, leave your questions in the chat right now, and I will be happy to answer those questions live. I do have other questions that have been sent in to me. I will be answering those questions also. I am pinning my email address. So if you have an issue or you want to send me your resume for review, we always review resumes for free. Does not cost you anything. I'll tell you exactly what my thought is. And, you know, if it's great or if it's not great, I'll tell you. And it's when we review resumes, it's based on, is it AI friendly, applicant tracking friendly? Is it formatted correctly so it can slide right into an applicant tracking system? If it isn't, I'm going to tell you. And it may be the main reason why you're not getting calls for job interviews. So I'll be answering your questions today. Make sure I grab that. I think I got that taken care of. I don't know. We'll see. I'll be answering your questions. And if you have a question, you can leave it in the comment section. Good morning, Angel. Good morning to everyone. I would like to know where you're watching from. Anywhere in the world that you're watching from, you can leave that in the chat as well. So please feel free to do that. Okay? I would really appreciate it. All right. Let me get this taken care of right now for you guys. Thank you to the many thousands of you who are new followers. There are many of you who are following for the first time on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. So thank you guys so much for many of you guys who are new followers. And I'm really blown away by the overwhelming response that we're getting from all over the world with people and the help they need. So let's get started. Right off the top, I have a brand new announcement. So the book, Your Total Career Makeover, is now available. I was given permission last night to release it, limited release. I wanted to push it out all over social media and everything else, but it is available right now for download. So if you click the link in my bio, you can get this book. So everything that I share, or everything that I'm sharing here on social media, all of the answers that you get, all of that stuff is in this book. It's I think it's 192 pages long. And the chapters are the fastest way to find a job, what you should know before you go to a job interview, the keys to overcoming fear of job interviews. I have included the interview question and answer cheat sheet in this book. How to get paid what you're worth, the 10 keys to increasing your value in the workplace and boosting your career. And the winning resume template is in here as well. The book is being specially released for just $24.99. The resume template itself is $21.99. So if you get the book, the resume template is chapter 10. So if you want to be able to, rework your resume, or if you want us to do it, we'll be happy to do it for you as well. But it is in the book, and everything that I share with you guys on a daily basis comes from this book and all of this information that I'm sharing with you guys. So I'm excited that this is now available to you. right off the bat, there's another version that we're working on for students. Okay, this is for high school and college students. That'll be coming out as well. But this is good for high school and college students as well. But the other one is going to be more specific about personal branding and all kinds of stuff. And so anyway, so thank you guys so much for joining. Thank you to many of you who have reached out to me for your resume rework, for your one-on-one time with me. Thank you so much for that. Thank you to everyone who has sent in questions. And for all of our many new YouTube subscribers as well. Thank you for that. We are just, the program is just growing like crazy. And so I'm excited about that. I want to answer your questions. That's what this is all about. This is about answering your questions and getting you answers so you can be equipped and ready to win in any interview you have out there. Washington, D.C. is in the house. Chicago is in the house. Nashville, Tennessee is in the house. Ohio, Lakewood, Colorado. Good morning. Let me know where you are watching from. Thank you guys so much. Dallas, Texas, Fort Worth, Texas, Atlanta, Georgia, Orlando, Florida, Miami, Florida. I'm actually from Miami, Florida. New York City, Denver, Colorado, Los Angeles, California, Las Vegas, Nevada. All right, so thank you guys so much where you are for joining. Let's get started. Write in your questions. There are many of you who are reaching out to you. Montgomery, Alabama, the London, UK. I've been there 3 times. I really enjoy London. Beautiful, beautiful place. But I want to jump right into your questions. Thank you for letting me know where you're joining from. Here's a question from Instagram. If you were in an interview and this person was asking, well, I tell you, if they ask you, why should we hire you? You tell them because I have the skill, experience, and background to solve the problem that you have for this particular job. I'm the best person to do that. And this question comes based off of that. What if they ask you what problem you have? Then what should you do? Okay, so I get this question almost every day. Okay, and here's the deal. How do you know what problem the job solves that you are trying to work? Hi from Tunisia. Thank you so much, Helimi. Or how do you know what problem it is? Okay, so whenever I publish a job posting with a job description, okay, the description as a talent acquisition manager, the job description shows you the problem the position solves for the organization. So we're looking for people who have the skill, experience, education, and background to solve the problem that's inside of the job description. So if you look at the job description, it'll tell you all of the skills, the necessary skills you have, and the problem that you're going to solve. You should never, ever, 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 ever go to a job interview and not know the problem that your job solves, the position that you're interviewing. You should never, ever go to an interview and not know the problem that you solve. Let me give you just a real quick secret. The reason why you are even interviewing with a hiring manager is because we have already looked at your resume and we know that you have the experience to solve the problem that we are looking to have solved. So if you don't know that, you are in big trouble. Okay, so make sure you are looking at the job description and understanding from the job description what problem they want this person in this position to solve. Every job is a problem-solving position. Every job is. Doesn't matter what the job is. It is designed to solve a problem within the organization, and your skill, experience, education, and background is uniquely positioned to solve that problem. Okay? And you should know that. Now, why is it important for you to know that? Because 99% of people who will be interviewing for the same job don't know. Okay? They don't know. Like, I've interviewed customer service representatives, medical assistants. I've interviewed people in accounting. They don't know the problem that they are responsible for solving for that organization. It's all the same. accounting, finance, sales, customer service, human resources. It's all the same. Okay. And the only nuances have to do with the technical expertise. So if you are an IT person, right, it could be desktop support, desktop computer repair or support, software support, could be back end support through a knock or whatever. The bottom line is those are some nuances, but every job solves a problem and you have to know what that is, or you are putting yourself at a disadvantage if you do not know that walking into an interview. All of that is in the book. Okay. If you have a question, leave it in the comment section. I'll be happy to answer that question for you. All right. This is another question from Instagram. I don't know what's going on. I keep getting to the finals in most of my interviews, but I have not been chosen for a job yet. Can you help? Yes. The problem is I'm just going to be straightforward. The problem is you're talking too much in the interview. You're sharing too much. You're oversharing. You're giving away too much information. Now, I know you think that sharing all of your skills and expertise is good. It's not. It's not good. Okay. Hiring managers are only interested in knowing the segment of your skill that solves their problem, not all of the things that you've done for anybody else. And by the way, let me be clear about that. Most hiring managers don't care what you did for somebody else. They don't care how successful you were in your last job. They don't care about that. They don't even think there is a comparison. In many cases, they don't think it's a comparison. The uniqueness of their department, the hiring manager's department, they think it's the most special and unique place on the planet. So yes, you've done the same job somewhere else for a competitor company, but they think the nuances in their organization are so unique that there's really not much of a comparison. So your skill, your ability, your experience, that segment of your experience that solves their unique problem is the only thing they're interested in. That's it. So when you get into an interview and you are sharing about all of the great things you've done in your career, and it appears as if you're going down some kind of rabbit hole to prove to them that you have the experience to do the job, it becomes a problem. That's why I tell you to answer the questions very straightforward and direct in a short manner, just very short answers. Okay. What kind of problem, for instance, what kind of problem do you think we have? Well, I'm a customer service representative. The job description says you're looking for somebody to care for customers. I am an expert at world-class customer service and keeping customers here within the company. That's it. Don't say anything else. Don't go into the vast history of your customer service experience because I can't express this enough. They don't care. You think they care, but they don't. They only care about their unique issue. So if you're getting to an interview, multiple interviews, but you're getting rejected, it's because you're oversharing. You're sharing way too much information, and you have to stop that. So give very straightforward, direct answers. You will have an opportunity to display your vast skill and ability once you get your foot in the door and you get hired. Then you'll be able to talk to them about all of the great things you've done in your career, or show them all of the great things you've done in your career. Until then, you won't. And if you keep oversharing, you will keep getting rejected. And why is that? Let me get to the core reason. It's because they don't like you. They think that you're not likable. Okay? If you're I want you to think about it from this perspective. If you're having a conversation with someone and you are dominating the conversation, they don't want to keep talking to you. That's what's happening when you overshare in an interview. You're dominating the conversation, and it is making the manager sometimes feel small. Okay? You don't want to do that. That's what's happening. You're dominating the conversation, and that's not good. On TikTok, when they ask you, tell me a bit about yourself, Blue Torch says on TikTok, on Instagram, Blue Torch asks, when they ask you, tell me a little bit about yourself, what should you say? This is a great question. I always like to reframe this question, right? Blue Torch, this is how you reframe it. I'm going to do a book on reframing interview questions, I think. I'm going to give that to you guys, give it away, I think. So here's the deal. When they ask you, tell me a little bit about yourself, what they're really saying is, Blue Torch, if we hire you, what kind of person will I be getting? Right? Well, if you reframe the question that way, the answer to that question is, you're going to get somebody who is loyal. I am dedicated. You will never, ever have to worry about whether I'm going to be here. Okay? I'm going to be on time. And I am going to get the job done. There is no task that you're going to give me that I will not complete. That's what you're going to be getting. You're going to be getting somebody who is a go-getter and a doer. That's what you're going to be getting. Somebody who supports your goals and the company's goals as a manager. That's what you're getting. That's when they say, tell me about yourself, that's what they mean. Now, here's the problem that a lot of people have. You think, many people think, I don't think you think this, Blue Torch, but many people think the reason why they're asking you to tell me about yourself is because they want to know about your awesome personality. They don't care about your personality. They don't know you. They don't know you from a person passing them in a grocery store with another grocery basket. They don't know you, okay? So they don't want to know about your personal experience, your Siamese cat, your hairless dog. They don't want to know about any of that. They don't want to know about it. I'm telling you, they don't. What they want to know about is, can you help me do my job? Because if you don't do it, I got to do it. That's really what they care about most, okay? So that's what they mean when they say, tell me about yourself. They're asking this question. If I hire you, Blue Torch, what kind of person am I going to be getting? If you reframe the question in that way, it's a lot easier to answer, and your answer will be more targeted and specific to what it is they want from you. Okay? Right. P. Porter says, what about when jobs want you to answer the question in a structured manner? How, when, where, why format? Okay? First of all, P. Porter, I've been doing this for a long time, 30 plus years, and you're giving way too much credit to hiring managers. Okay? So sometimes hiring managers, most hiring managers are not interested in you answering the question that way. They're just interested in their own personal situation. But if you're asked to give behavioral interviews, and the most popular method out there is the STAR method. Tell me about a situation you had, the task that it was going to take to get it done, right? The goals, and what were the results? Okay. What was the aim? What were the goals? And what were the results that you got? So if they're asking you to answer questions in a structured manner, how did you do this? When did you do it? Where did you do it? Why did you do it? It's pretty simple. I did it like this, right? Let's say I'm going to speak from my perspective. Let's say talent acquisition. How did you do it? Well, we had a situation where we had a very short timeline, brand new client, needed to hire 25 people in 1 week. And I got this message Monday morning, and the new contract was going to be starting the next Monday. So I had a week to hire people. How did I do it? First thing I did is I pulled everybody together in HR, hiring managers, the hiring manager's manager, to let everybody know what was about to be happening. Okay. We need to interview 75 people to make 25 offers. That's first. Okay. That's how we did it. What we were going to do is we needed to make sure we had all hands on deck managers from other departments to interview as well, because this is going to be a massive undertaking. 75 candidates interviewed in 1 week means that we're going to have to interview about 20 people, 15 to 20 people every single day, and we're going to have to make job offers within 30 minutes after each one of those interviews. The reason why we need to do that is because we got to get everybody through the background process, get them offered, get them through the background process, get them to accept the whole 9 yards. And in order to get 25 hired, we're going to have to offer 40. So 75 candidates, offer 40, land on 25 to have in the class on Monday morning. Okay? New hire class on Monday morning. So you can answer it in that way. Okay? How, when, where, why format, right? That is an unusual, in many cases, it's unusual for a lot of companies to ask in this way, but you can answer it in that way. Think about a situation that is your how, when, where, and why format, and you should easily be able to do that. They're just trying to see how you problem solve a lot of times when they ask a question, ask you to answer questions in that way. Okay. All right. Another question from Instagram. When I don't have a right answer for a question in a job interview, what can I say? This is very few people ask this question. How should you respond if you don't know the answer to a question? Okay. So first, if you don't know the answer, don't try to manufacture one. Okay. I'm going to give you a very simple explanation. If someone were to ask me about an applicant tracking system that I have never worked with, my answer is no. Then I'm going to say, is it a Windows-based system? And they will say yes. And then I will say, okay, great. Almost all Windows-based applicant tracking systems are the same, just different buttons in different places in the program. But I've never worked with that one before, but I can work with it. Okay. If you don't know the answer, another way to answer is this. I don't know the answer to that question right now, but may I send a response to this question after I leave? That doesn't hurt you. What hurts you is trying to give an answer to a question you don't know the answer to. You just look like a bonehead candidate. Okay, and you don't want to do that. You don't want to try to seem to be overly intelligent. If you don't know, that's fine. If you have ever watched any of my lives or seen any of my content, you will know that 98 out of 100 candidates do not fully qualify for any job they apply for. So you may be missing some component that the client or the company would like. So no candidate is perfect. Very few are. Okay, have all of it. And if the candidate has all of the skill, experience, education, and background that a company needs, they may not be a good personality match. So no candidate in my 35 years of doing this, I have ever found a candidate, including myself when I've applied for jobs, have ever been perfect. So if you don't know the answer to a question, don't give a manufactured answer. Just be honest and tell them, I don't know. Okay. All right, here's a question from Instagram. In this day and age, how can I reach a recruiter if I'm applying for a job for a company? How can I find their contact information? Okay, so I get this question a lot too, and I want to make sure that you guys understand what I mean when I say reach out to a recruiter. If you apply to a job and you haven't gotten a response back from a company, I'm not talking about reach out to a recruiter to see what the status is then. That's not what I'm saying. If you have interviewed for a job and they haven't responded back to you, that's what I'm talking about when I say you should reach out to the recruiter. After 3 days, reach out to the recruiter or hiring manager by email. You should have that information. If they haven't responded to you in 24 hours, you want to call them. And if they haven't responded to your voicemail in 24 hours, you want to go up to the company and ask for an update. That's what I mean. So I want to make sure that I provide that clarification, because if you're utilizing the 25-to-1 ratio for applications to interview, that's calling a lot of different recruiters, and those jobs may be passive. You're not going to get very far. Okay. On Instagram, Najee says, how do you answer the question? Tell me about your weakness. What's the best answer? Okay. This is the same kind of question about tell me about yourself, but I want to reframe it. Okay. So this is how you reframe that question. Tell me about your weaknesses is kind of has a negative tone to it. Okay. It's pretty negative. I don't advise hiring managers to ask the question this way. When I give hiring managers an interview questionnaire, the question that they need to be asking candidates, because I want the experience to be positive for both the hiring manager and for the candidate, I position this question in this way. Tell me about those areas professionally that you're working on right now to improve, right now. So the way you reframe this question is if somebody asks you, tell me about your weaknesses, how do you best answer that? You want to reframe it in your mind. What areas am I currently working on? Okay. And so you could think about a couple of things. Well, I'm working on improving my abilities as a leader. Okay. I am working to improve my efficiency in a software program. I am working on improving my education by getting this additional certification or schooling, right? I am improving my ability to be more of a supportive team member, right? Those are areas that you are focusing on so that you can make sure that you're the best that you can be for both yourself, the team, and the company. What areas are you working on to improve is the same question as what are your weaknesses. But if you think about it from a negative perspective, the question in my mind kind of sounds like this. When somebody says, tell me about your weaknesses, it sounds like this. Hey, Dan, tell me, what do you suck at the most, right? I know that they're not asking that question, but that's what it sounds like to me, right? Dan, tell me, what do you suck at the most? Well, my response to a question like that would be, I don't want to look bad. I don't want them to think I'm bad. I would say I don't suck at anything. I'm not weak at anything. But there are definitely some areas that I'm trying to improve in. And that's why you want to reframe the question. I hope it answers your question. If you have any questions, leave it in the comment section. I'll be happy to answer that question for you. Leave it in the comment section. Helmi says, thank you for the answer. You're very welcome. That's why I'm here. I love giving answers to you guys, helping you out so that you can get the job you want as fast as possible. Okay, so many of you want to understand the best way to talk about money. That is a very challenging situation. It's a challenging conversation for a lot of people. And I want to help you get past this, the stigma of talking about money. One, you are worth it. Let me just be very clear. You're worth it. Okay. Don't ever let anybody underpay you, tell you what you're not worth. You're worth it. If you utilize the tools that I have in this book to show you where to find pay range, you will find your proper pay range. If you use the tools that I'm talking about, it's real easy. It's all free. It's public information. So this question is, when discussing pay, is it better to just give them a flat out pay range? Or can you ask them the question, what was the previous person making in this position? Stop. Listen to me. Stop. Listen. Never, ever, 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 ever ask what the other person in the job was making before you. That is irrelevant because you might have 10 years more experience than that person. So that's not apples to apples. That doesn't matter. That person may have been working in the job at that company for 20 years. And that's why they're making what they're making. They're not going to pay you based on the previous person. Don't you ever, ever ask that question, ever. Because an employer or a hiring manager will think you are trying to get over on them. Okay? Don't ever ask that. You need to make sure it is relevant to you. So if you use the tools, Indeed, Glassdoor, or Google to search for the pay range for the industry, for the position in your market, it will show you what the pay range is. It doesn't matter what the previous person was making. The previous person may have had 2 years experience and you have 20 years experience, right? Obviously, you should be making more. And if they came back to you with what that other person was making, you would think that it was a joke. Okay, so you never ask that question. A simple way to answer it without giving it a number, and I'm going to tell you how to answer giving a number too, will be this. What I am interested in making is what is in line with respect to the industry standard for pay and my experience with respect to this role. That's what I'm interested in. Okay. The other thing is, remember, you never, ever walk into an interview without knowing what the industry standard pay range is. I'll tell you where to find that information. So if they ask you, give a number, you can give a number based on the pay range that you have in your notes right in front of you, right? Well, I know, I would be bold. I know that the pay range for this position in this market, in this industry, is $35 to $55 an hour, and I am more on the $55 per hour side. That's it. Don't say nothing else. Okay? That's what you're interested in making. All right? I hope that helps you. Walu says, where do you see yourself in the job in the future? So if a hiring manager asks you, where do you see yourself in 3 years or 5 years or 7 years? Okay, let's talk about that. Let's reframe it. Now, when you hear that question, most people think the hiring manager is asking about your personal, professional ambition. They don't care about your personal or professional ambition. So don't answer it from that perspective. I'm begging you, please do not fall into the trap of trying to tell them about how ambitious you are. They don't care, okay? So what are they asking? Where do you see yourself in 5 years, right? What they really want to know is, if I were to just give it a plain answer, I see myself standing behind you, and we are the best team in the industry, in this company, in the world. I see myself right here helping to support you to make this the best team this company has ever seen. That's really what they want to know. So let's reframe the question. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? This is really what they're asking. 5 years from now, can I count on you to still be here and part of this team helping us to be the best? That's really what they're asking. They don't really want to know about your personal ambitions. So you don't answer it from a personal perspective. That will get you canceled 99% of the time. Okay? You don't want to answer it that way. I see myself right here helping you become the best team in this company has ever seen, making the most money, generating the most revenue, seeing the most people, processing the most paperwork, supporting the most departments, whatever it is. I see myself right here with you, rocking it out. Okay? Not, I see myself, let's think about what the hiring manager hears. Not, well, I see myself working hard and getting promoted past you and eventually being your boss, right? When you say something about your personal ambition, that's really what they hear. Okay? That your ambitions will push you past them. Unfortunately, this is just how it is in the workplace. This is how hiring managers think. Unfortunately, that's how it is. And this is what we got to deal with. And that's why I'm telling you that's why I come on and I tell you how to answer these questions. That's why in the book, I give you the interview cheat sheet so you can see exactly how to answer these questions so you don't fall into these traps. You don't want to fall into the trap. You don't. It's all in this book. I don't want you to fall into that trap. Where do you see yourself in the future? Right here with you, making things happen in this company, becoming the best team in the world in this industry. That's how you answer it. So KHAZ Mon says, hey, Daniel, is the book out now? Yes, it is a digital download. You can click the link in my profile right now and purchase the book. It's $24.99. That's special pricing. So we will not be doing printed copies of the book until, I can't remember what the number is. I think it's 1,000, 5,000 sales or something like that. Once we've done 5,000 or more digital downloads, then they will offer the book in paperback. But right now, if you wanted to get this book right now and learn everything that I'm sharing with you every day on these social media platforms, you can click the link in my bio for $24.99. You can get the book, Your Total Career Makeover, right this very second. It'll come in digital form, and you can look at it on your phone or your computer. I mean, it's all right here. Okay, you can look at the whole thing. It's 192 pages, everything that I share with you guys. Okay, so I hope that answers your question. You can go get the book now. All right. All right. Lee Smoot says, regarding the pay range, you said you shared how to find this. Can you reshare since I'm new following? Yes, Lee. So let me just lay out the process for you. When a hiring manager comes to me, let's say it's a brand new position, and they say, hey, Dan, we want to find somebody like Lee, but we've never had this position in our company before. Can you please put together a job description and pay ranges for this position? So this is what I do, Lee. This is what I do as a talent acquisition manager, HR leader. Okay. I go to Google. I go 3 places, google.com, Indeed.com, and Glassdoor. Some people will use salary.com. I don't use salary.com that much, but that's okay. You can. And you're going to type in your position title: senior member service representative, senior project manager, CEO, whatever your position title is. You're going to put in the area where you live in, Denver, Colorado, okay, in the production manufacturing industry. How much is the pay for a CFO in Denver, Colorado, and production manufacturing? Okay, and it's going to spit out some information for you. Okay, it's going to give you some ranges, low and high. Okay, the low number is for a person who's been doing that same role for about 2 to 3 years. The middle number is somebody who's been doing that same role. I'm sorry, the top number is somebody who's been doing that role for 10 or more years. And the middle number is going to be somebody who's been doing that job for about 6 to 8 years. Okay, and that's how you find it. And when you get that information, you need to walk in armed with that information to any interview. And you need to use that information whenever you are applying to a job. You need to be armed with that information. Okay, it's the same information that I get. Whenever you see a position posted on the internet, on a job board, whenever I post a position on the job board, that's where I got that information from. Google, Glassdoor, or Indeed.com, or salary.com. It's all over the internet, and it's free. Okay. And as a candidate, you should know that information. Now, why do I make this? Why do I make a stink about this? Because one of the questions I always ask candidates in the pre-screen is, what kind of money are you looking to make? And then I'll say, before you answer, I'm asking you, what's the least amount you're willing to accept for a job? And what I mean by that is this: if everything was perfect in this company, right? This was the right job for you, you would not start this position unless it pays what? And I try to get that information out of them because I want to know if I don't want you to get all the way to the end of the interview and spend 2 or 3 hours and you want $30 an hour more than what the position pays. No, I want to flush that out from the very beginning. And I share that information with the hiring managers. My team shares that information with the hiring managers so they know that you are a pay match from the very beginning. Now, I have had some people in interviews go into an interview after they've shared one thing with me and say something else. And that's don't ever do that. That's a bonehead move, because the hiring manager, when we are representing you, we give them all of the information in your favor that makes you look favorable before they interview you, so they know what your pay is looking, what you want for from a pay perspective in the whole 9 yards. Now, most companies don't do this. Most recruiters don't do this, but that's where you find that information. I hope that answers your question. And by the way, I tell you how to do that in this book. The best way to negotiate pay, right? It's in the book. It tells you where to find that information. All right. Does the book have interview questions reframed? So I don't have a chapter. So chapter, I think number 3 in the book. I think that's chapter number 3. It has the top 50 interview questions that anybody in the entire world will ask about any position. Let's see. It's chapter 4. It's called the interview cheat sheet. And it is not reframed, but here's the deal. Fan, if you reach out to me and you want to know how to reframe that question, all you got to do is text me or email me. I'll tell you exactly how to reframe it. And I may end up creating something later, but that's just not part of the book right now. But chapter 4 is interview cheat sheet. It's the top 50 questions that every hiring manager for the 35 years that I've been asking, they all ask the same question. Now, what is the distinction here? These are the questions in some combination. These are the questions that I give hiring managers to ask you. These top 50 questions are the questions that I give them to ask you. So I'm telling you how to reframe them because I know the meaning behind all of those questions. Okay. And I didn't create all of the questions, but these are the common questions that they ask. All right. Peaceful Journey says, I received an email from a recruiter on Wednesday. I sent an email and left a voicemail to follow up. Should I continue to reach out? Yes. Let me explain to you what the process is. If a recruiter reaches out to you, you reply to that email. Okay. If they don't respond to that email in 24 hours, you call them. If you leave a voice message and they do not respond to you within 24 hours, you get in your car on a skateboard, you walk, you do whatever you have to do to go to that location, and you ask them for a follow-up. If they reach out to you, even if this is the initial interview, go up there. Okay. That should take you 3 to 4 days to do. You want to do that twice through, no more than that. If you have to do it more than that, they're really not interested in you. Recruiters who are trying to fill positions, they are going to reach out to you. And if they reach out to you initially, it's because they have a question about your expertise, or they know that you have the skill to do the job, and they're trying to get you an interview so they can get you going in that company, so they can get that requisition off their desk, right? Because we are graded by our time to fill. How long did it take you to fill this particular position, Daniel? And if your time to fill is too long, then you are a useless recruiter. Okay. And when I look at my team, I look at time to fill. When did you get this requisition? And how quickly did it take you to fill it? The regular time to fill for top recruiters is 7 to 10 days, business days, 7 to 10 business days. From the time you get a requisition in your hand to the time we make an offer for a position should be 7 to 10 days. That's why you should not be waiting 2, 3, 4 weeks to hear back from somebody. Okay, I hope that answers your question. All right, peacefully said, thank you. You're welcome. All right. All right, here's another question. What is the best way to answer? What are your 3 strengths? Okay, let's reframe the question. Let's reframe it. What are your 3 strengths? Okay. So if we reframe this question, what is the hiring manager asking, right? What 3 things are you good at that we could use in our department? Okay. What 3 things are you good at? Okay. So what are my 3 strengths? I am an effective communicator, right? I am a very, very focused listener. Okay, I listen to everything a person says. I may even repeat it back to them, and then I can communicate. And I am a world-class problem solver. You bring a problem to me, and I'm going to figure out a way to solve it. Those are my 3 strengths. And it could be anything, right? So if you reframe the question, again, what they're saying is, tell me the 3 things that about you, the 3 areas, the 3 tools in your toolbox that you bring to the table that's going to help us to get to the next level, right? If it was sports, I'm fast, I can catch the ball, I practice hard, whatever it is. In business, it's the same thing. I'm an effective communicator. I am an effective listener, and I am a problem solver. I am going to get the job done. I am someone you will never, ever have to worry about whether the job is going to get done. You will never, ever, ever, ever have to worry about that. I will reach out to you once I receive the project. I will let you know where we are midway through. I will let you know when the project is done. I will ask for help when I need it. I am a person who's going to communicate with you. You will never, ever have to worry about whether I'm going to be on time, whether the job is going to get done. I'm that guy. Okay? And that's how you answer that question. I hope it answers it for you. Peaceful Journey says, what about existing company? 2-week notice or less, or does it matter? So if you are, okay, I want to make sure I'm understanding your question here. If you're working for an existing company, should we wait 2 weeks before they make a decision? If they're trying to fill a position, there's the unique, if you're asking the question about follow-up, okay, so let me explain to you about the uniqueness inside of an organization. So I would double that time. Let me explain to you why. Because you are vacating a position that needs to be filled, okay? That's a component that if you're moving to another department or getting promoted, your position has to be backfilled. Okay, you may be going to a new department, and that's cool, but we give about 30 days to transition. So let's say October 1st, you interview for that new position. It was a promotion, lateral move, whatever. We take you through the process. Usually it takes about a week for them to interview you and make an offer. What we typically do in our company is we have you start on the first day of the new payroll period, okay? But we know you're going to be starting. So you have to stay in your seat, your current seat, until I backfill your position. You can't go to the new job, the new position, the promotion, or the lateral move until I backfill your position. So once the new hiring manager has made a decision that you are the person they want to hire for that job as an internal candidate, we get to work on either bringing up somebody else in the company to fill your position or bringing in outside talent to fill that particular position. But you can't leave that seat until that position, your position, has been backfilled. So that can usually take up to 30 days. Sometimes a little longer, but usually a good talent acquisition department, HR department, will do it in about 30 days. So I hope that answers your question. Okay. Killer B says, good advice, sir. You're very welcome. Nice suit on your profile picture. Fan Clement says, excellent. Thank you. No 99 says, fantastic. Thank you so much for that. Okay. Fant says, what problem does a sales executive solve? Thank you for the question. I have an answer. Okay. What is the purpose, the primary purpose of a sales executive, representative, sales leader? New client acquisition. Your job is to expand the company's reach and revenue. That's what your job is. Acquire new clients, and you need to be the best in the world at doing it, right? Finding clients, screening them to make sure they're an ideal client, and closing sales. That's what you do. Because what does that translate into? Revenue for the company. So your job as a sales representative, sales executive, is to expand the revenue base through customer or client acquisition. That's what your job is. Now, if you're an executive who is managing a team that does that, your job is to use the team, that's your tool, the people, to do the exact same thing. So coming up with strategies, providing the tools, the time, and the training necessary for the team to reach out to more people so they can acquire more customers, so the company's revenue base can be expanded. So your job is to help the company make more money. That's the job of a sales executive. I hope that answers your question. If you want to know what problem your job solves, just leave it in the chat. I'll be happy to answer that question for you. Bailey, can you please save your lives? So Bailey, all of the lives are saved, and if you become a subscriber on Instagram, it's $4.99 a month. If you click the subscribe button, every time I complete a live, I save it so subscribers can replay it anytime they want. Okay, so it's just $4.99 a month, and you can do that if you want to. All right. So if you're exiting or leaving a company, so if you're exiting a company or leaving a company, how long should it take? Same thing. Typically 2 weeks. Now, typically this is how it works. Week number one, if you currently have a job, week number one you're interviewing. Week number two, an offer should be made, and you should be going through the background process. Once you get the offer, at the end of week two, you put in a 2-week notice at your current job. You work 2 weeks and you get started. So that process typically is 30 days. Could be longer depending on how long it takes you to find a job. But that's what it looks like if you're currently working. All companies recognize that you may have to put in a 2-week notice. That's a professional thing to do. Okay, so it takes 2 weeks to hire, 2-week notice, and you're there. Okay, so Louis babe, what problem does a senior accountant solve? Okay, so let's talk about that. What is the job of an accountant? Your job is to track and keep record of and report income and expenses. Income and expenses. Where did the money come from and where did the money go to? Okay, so all monies that come in from outside of the organization come through some sort of accounting system, and your job is to then disperse where all of the expenses have gone, and you put those two numbers together. This is how much we made. This is how much we spent. This is how much we have, right? So that's the number one, reporting on the financial health of the company, income, expenses, and total net profit, right? That's one. Another thing is some sort of reporting. Another problem that you solve is reporting up to executives about the financial health of the company. So those reports will be showing this is what we made in sales over the quarter, over the year, over the half a year. This is what our expenses were and where those monies went. And this is the money that we have left or the money that we're short. Your job is to report. The problem that you solve is to report and keep track of the financial health of an organization. That's the baseline job of an accountant. And that could be you're paying taxes or you're paying other bills or whatever those things are. But you report income, expenses, net profit. That's what you need to make sure that you are doing as a senior. And the better you're able to do that, the faster you're able to do that, the faster you're able to get that information to the right people, the better you are at your job. I hope that answers your question. Okay. Ashley, engages with stakeholders needed in a presentation. What do you want to talk about? Okay. All right. So stakeholders, hiring managers, department heads, you have to do a presentation. What do you talk about? There's only one thing they care about. How you're going to solve my problem. Okay. So in a presentation, you want to do one, identify the problem that you think they have. Number two, you want to show them how you are going to put certain tools, processes, or pieces in place to solve that problem. And number three, you're going to show them how quickly you can get that problem solved and report back to them so they can do their job. That's how you do it. Okay. When I interview for my job, I interview with the CEO and both of the VPs of operations in the markets that I'm responsible for managing talent acquisition in. They were the stakeholders. CEO wanted to make sure that I can get the job done. And the two people that I was supporting, the VPs of operations in each one of those markets, were the key stakeholders, even though I work with people on their team as well. They wanted to know how I was going to help them to get those positions hired that they needed to have hired, that they had had problems with for 5 years. And I explained to them exactly how I was going to do it. I understood their problem. I explained exactly how I was going to do it and how quickly I was going to do it. In fact, one of the VPs of operations came back to me and said I explained it so well that they were a little skeptical about my explanation. I showed them exactly what I was going to do. I told them your issue is not that there are not enough people to hire. Your issue is your current staff don't know where to find these people. And I just showed you in 5 seconds where they are. I didn't tell them, I showed them. I did a screen share and showed them where those people are. And I said, so what needs to happen is, however quickly it is, however fast we can get to these people, you'll get your positions hired. Took me 12 weeks to solve a problem that they had for 5 years. Okay, so that's how you explain it. You understand their problem. You put the tools or processes in place to solve their problem so they can get on about their life. Okay, that's how it works. Peacefully. Any input on what is so difficult to get into a county or government position? Yeah, so county or government type positions are obviously taxpayer funded type roles, and their processes are pretty set and strict. So those roles are going to take it's a lot more involved, right? The process takes so long for you to get in. So think about it. If you go down and you want to purchase a car, it may take you, if you want to get a credit card, you can do an application over the internet and probably get a credit card. But if you wanted to go purchase a car, let's say a $50,000 car, you're probably going to sit in that car dealership for about 4 or 5 or 6 hours because the financing is more. If you decide to buy a house, well, it's going to take even longer than that because the process is more involved. They have to check more things because you're buying this $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 house, whatever the number is, right? Well, government positions are the exact same way. Because the process is so involved, you got to have the right background, you got to have the right this, you got to have the right that, and they have all of these different processes in place. It takes a lot longer for you to get through all of those layers. And that's the reason why government positions take so long. Okay. Okay, Ashley, you're also protecting the brand in the presentation. Okay. Yeah, just answer the way that I was telling you to answer. Peaceful journey. What about companies who ask for your social media handles, accounts? Is this legal or should you provide them? I'm gonna be releasing a book. I think it's earlier next year. It's Your Total Career Makeover for Students, and I talk about social media. You don't have to give people your social media handles. If they use your name, they'll find you. Okay, so what I try to do, or what I advise, if you're looking for jobs, okay, make all of your, if you don't want people to see your social media stuff, make all of your social media pages private, all of them, make them private, and put a professional headshot on each one of them. Because you may be running a small business or something on the side. Just make them all private. So even if they find you, they still can't get in unless they do a request. So it's not illegal for them to ask, and it's not unethical for you to not provide. They're just trying to see what kind of person they're getting. Okay, so I hope that answers your question. What problem does a customer service supervisor solve? The purpose of a customer service rep is customer retention. The more customers they can satisfy and the more customers they can retain, the more money the company continues to make for that customer, okay, from that customer. I've been a customer of my cell phone carrier. I've been a customer of them for 26 years, okay? So their customer service obviously has to be good for me to have been a customer for that long. So what problem does the customer service supervisor solve? The customer service supervisor's job is to manage customer service reps who help maintain customers. Your job is to provide the tools, the time, and the training necessary for the customer service reps to retain the customers for the company so the company can continue to make money. That's why. Let me do this over here on TikTok. Okay. So that's the job that a customer service supervisor solves. And a lot of times as a supervisor, you're on the phones as well. Lou says, thank you. You're welcome. I appreciate it. All right. All right. So if you have questions, you can always text me or email me. I'll be happy to answer those questions for you. I am always available to you for the most part. The book is available right now. Okay. Go get it. It's your total career makeover, a guaranteed plan for your career success. All of the things that I share with you on this live, they're all in this book. It's available to you right now. The chapters are the fastest way to find a job, what you should know before you go, the keys to overcoming fear of job interviews, the interview question and answers cheat sheet, never lose a job offer again, how to get paid what you're worth, the best way to negotiate pay, 10 keys to increasing your value in the workplace, and the winning resume template. It's all here in the book. Just go grab it. All you have to do is click the link in my bio, and you will see it right there. It's $24.99, special pricing right now. And listen, thank you guys so much for joining this show. I appreciate it. Continue to send me your questions. I'll continue to answer those questions. If I did not get to your question now, just send me a DM and I'll be happy to answer it now or on another live show. And I'm going to tell you guys the same thing that I say at the end of every single live. My goal is I'm going to spend the rest, as long as the Lord allows me to, I will spend the rest of my life helping you get to the next level in yours. God bless you, and I will talk to you guys soon.